Good afternoon, everyone. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar for April 1st. Whenever courtroom 2 is ready, we will get started.
Hey, good afternoon, Judge Murrow. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Norris?
I'm wonderful, sir. We're going to start
Excellent.
with position number 6. This is going to be Mr. Aaron Chester. He has private counsel.
Okay, and yes, good afternoon. Let's see. Counsel, good afternoon. What's your name?
Judge Joel C. Pugh and Associates represents Mr. Chester. I'm Ross Durans.
Good afternoon. Let's see. Mr. Chester, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chester, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001530E with battery family violence. Let's see, who do we have on from pre-trial? Oh, Ms. Hardy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This defendant does not have any history and is recommended for a UJR through the jail.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Graham.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 30th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 635 West Crossfield Road in Roswell. Upon arrival, they spoke with Robin Chester. She advised that her son, Aaron Chester, was being verbally abusive and preventing her from grabbing her purse. While they were sitting in the car, she went to reach for the purse, which was on the floorboard of the passenger seat. Aaron was sitting in the passenger seat and intentionally used his left leg to pin her right arm against the center console, causing visible injury to the back of her hand. Our office has spoken with Miss Chester. She told us that she's the mother of Aaron Chester, that they were in the car and the argument began. She confirmed the events in the warrant, said this is not the first time that he's been physical with her, but this is the first time the police she has called the police in the past, but this was the first time he's been arrested. That he has a temper, needs anger management. She wants to continue contact, but does not want him to return to the residence. The residence is actually 940 Brooks Glen Drive in Roswell. She stated that he can stay with a friend until he graduates high school. Indicated she'll be on Zoom this afternoon. The state is recommending signature bond through pretrial services, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Robin Chester. Stay away from 940 Brooks Glen Drive in Roswell. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And Your Honor, if we can sound for Ms. Chester in accordance with Marcy's law.
Ms. Chester, I see that you're on with us this afternoon. If you would like to address the court, you certainly do not have to, but if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in.
I think I'm okay.
Okay, you're fine, Ms. Chester. Good afternoon.
Good
Yes, counsel. Yes, counsel.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Chester is a senior at Fellowship Christian High School. He's been accepted to Western Carolina University. He'll be attending there in the fall, Judge. As heard from pretrial, he's never been arrested, never been in any sort of trouble at all. Judge, he'll most likely be living. We'd ask that he be allowed to leave the jurisdiction of the court. His most likely place that he'll be staying is in Amelia Island, Florida. And then, of course, Western Carolina University in the fall, where he'll be attending school. And we just ask that he be given a no opposition to the signature bond, of course, Judge.
So the place that he's going to be living, counsel, is not going to be in the state.
It'll probably be until he graduates. You don't live with your friend until you graduate.
Judge, he does have a friend that he can live with until he graduates high school. That'll be in
May, right?
end of May, either in Woodstock or Canton, Judge, here in the state. And then, of course, once he goes to Western Carolina, that'll be, I assume, in July or August for a college, Judge.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Robin Chester. Stay away from the Brooks Glen Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
And Judge, if I may, is there a phone number either for Chambers or maybe the solicitor's office? So if there's any issues with this bond, I've got a contact person to reach out to.
Mr. Graham, can you place well, you'll just have to contact, because the solicitors that handle first appearance may not be the solicitors that are going to handle it through the next phase. But Mr. Walker has placed a number in the chat that you can contact someone once he gets assigned to a division judge.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Okay, anything further this afternoon?
That's all from us, Judge.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon. Good luck to you, Mr. Chester. You also, Miss Robin Chester.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, next we're gonna go to position number 12. Ms. Zanata Graves.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Graves. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Ms. Graves, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001542G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles out of Indiana, felony conviction in 2020 for criminal mischief, 2019 theft. Their last arrest was March the 13th, 2020 out of Vanderburgh, Indiana for criminal mischief. Recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place March 31st, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a dispute with injuries call at 969 Palmetto Avenue Southwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with Bendarios, Bendarios Watson, who stated that an argument with his girlfriend, Zanata Graves, became physical when she began to scratch his face and neck after she threw several items around the room. Our office has spoken with Mr. Watson. He does tell us that the 2 are in a relationship. They live together at the location. They share no children. He confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that nothing like this has ever happened before. He is not in fear of her and does want to continue contact. He is unable to attend Zoom. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, a 1-day anger witness. And this time we are going to ask for no further contact with Bendarios Watson, a stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we can sound from Mr. Watson, just in case he may be logged in, Your Honor.
Yeah, Mr. Watson is on the line and wishes to request the court now. To do so.
It went out.
Doesn't appear so. Good afternoon, Mr. Cook.
Good afternoon. You don't have a problem with clear one.
No.
Okay.
No.
Your Honor, we're fine with the conditions of the bond, to stay away and no contact and a signature bond.
Does she need to go back to the Palmetto Avenue address for anything, Mr. Cook?
You could go back probably one step.
Okay.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. She'd like a one-time visit.
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Watson. Stay away from the Palmetto Avenue address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Graves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 19, Ms. Destiny Roby.
Good afternoon, Ms. Roby. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Is that- Thank you. Ms. Roby, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001540B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history, and they're recommended for a UJR through the jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Afternoon, Mr. Walker.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1000 Park Avenue where they met with the victim, Mr. Xavier Roby. From my understanding, he is the nephew of the defendant. They reside together at that location. From my understanding, they were having an argument about utilities and food and financial expenses. Things became physical. At that time, the defendant, one second, did grab the victim by the neck with both hands and pushed him into a wall. According to the warrant, this is not the first time that the defendant has been violent towards him. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with Mr. Xavier Roby, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and of course, we sound for Mr. Roby in case he's on the line.
Mr. Xavier Roby is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Good afternoon, Ms. Kim. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Roby is actually very professional. She's working as a senior diversity engagement manager at a CVS, Your Honor. This was a self-defense. She's the one who called the police because she needed some help to discipline her 16 years old son. Complaining witness is actually 16 years old, and I think they live together. It's more beneficial for her to return home so that way she can continuously take care of him. She didn't expect somebody was going to get arrested. It was just to mediate the parties to make sure that there was a stronger no to her son. However, she ended up being arrested. We would like to request for signature on bond. She has a business degree from University of Florida, and she is missing out her business trip as of now. Thank you.
Is it her son or a nephew?
I have her nephew.
Son,
Okay.
he's my son.
All right. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Xavier Roby, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Next, we have position number, hold on. What we have? Oh, I'm sorry, position number 3, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0015258 with 2 counts of theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor, this defendant has over 40 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. A felony conviction in 2022 for burglary. 2007 theft by taking. And then there's misdemeanor conviction. Theft by shoplifting, 2012. There's a 2013 simple battery misdemeanor. The last arrest was February the 6th, 2024 out of Atlanta for theft by taking. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. Since this incident took place March 31st, 2024, Law enforcement responded to 562 Ranking Street Northeast in Atlanta in reference to a prowler. The witness and caller, Thabiso, Thabiso, I'm not going to attempt the last name, but I'll spell it out. Nkhereanye, told the officer that he saw Ozine Brown walking around two of the neighboring houses, checking door handles and grabbing unknown item from both of those houses. He showed the officer footage from his surveillance that captured the incident. The two neighbors at the time, Mr. William Beckham and Eric Dorr, then arrived on the scene. Mr. Beckham stated that he was not at home at the time, but his video surveillance captured Mr. Brown taking a package from his porch. The package contained a pair of Adidas children's slides. Mr. Dorr stated he was also not at home, and the neighbor's surveillance captured Mr. Brown taking an item from his porch. It was an Alpha motorcycle armor shirt valued at $50. I don't think we've been able to get in touch with either of those two victims, Your Honor, but based on the history, the most recent was 2023 death by taking arrest, and also one in 2018. The state is requesting $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count. No further contact with William Beckham, Eric Dorr, or Thabiso N. Stay away from 562 Ranking Street and the area. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we can sound for Mr. Beckham or Mr. Dorr, in case they may be logged in.
While the two alleged victims are on the line and would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Hardy, are you still with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
The 2024 alleged theft by taking, where's that pending?
It is pending out of Atlanta. I was not able to find a case number though.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. My client's 65 years old. He lives in the Trinity House Shelter on 21 Bell Street. He is retired. His monthly income at this point is a little uncertain. He believes he may have a check coming from Social Security here in the near future, but it's not particularly certain of what that amount would be. We have no problem with the condition of the bond. We would ask that it be a signature only bond, though, at whatever level the judge considers appropriate.
For each count, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, which makes it a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from the Ranking Street address, no further contact with the alleged victims, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Officer Milton. I hope you are as well.
Yes, sir. Before you is position 8, Tamita Collins.
I believe Ms. Collins is position 7 on my calendar. Good afternoon, Ms. Collins. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we conducted by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001532C with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle out of Georgia. Their last arrest was January the 13th, 2008, out of Fulton County for an aggravated assault. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail. Nothing further.
Mr. Graham?
Thanks, Your Honor. This incident took place March 1st, 2024. Tamitha Collins went to the residence of Alfonso Glass. It's at 1082 McDaniel Street, Southwest Atlanta. She threw a brick through the second floor window, causing it to break. Our office has been in touch with Mr. Glass. He says that the two are no longer in a relationship. They do not live together. They do not share any children. He stated that he was being dropped off by his girlfriend at home when Miss Collins pulled up and began an altercation. that he tried to stop her. She busted out the taillights of his rental car and then threw the brick through his window. He stated he had to pay about $650 to get the window fixed. He wants no contact with her and for her to stay away from his residence. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, Your Honor, one-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Alfonso Glass. Stay away from 1082 McDaniel Street Southwest. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if we may sound for Mr. Glass, if you might be on.
Mr. Alfonso Glass is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Representing Ms. Collins? Need to unmute you, Mr. Cook, if that's you.
Your Honor, we have no objection to the conditions of the bond. We would ask for a signature bond at level 1.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Alfonso Glass. Stay away from the McDaniel Street address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Don't go back to that address, Miss Collins. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again?
$1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to position number 1, Mr. Anthony Baptiste.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Baptiste. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Baptiste, you've been charged in case 24CR001524B with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
There's 5 felony convictions outside the 10-year period. There is a 2014 misdemeanor conviction for obstruction, 2003 battery. Their last arrest was May the 29th, 2019 out of Atlanta for driving while license suspended or revoked. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Also, I believe this was a dual arrest with position 17, AC Middlebrooks. The incident took place on March 30th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a dispute at 811 Hank Aaron Drive, Southeast in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer was met by Anthony Baptiste, who advised that he and Stacy Middlebrooks were involved in a physical altercation the day before. The officer did observe dried blood in his right ear, and Mr. Baptiste told the officer he suffered the injury during an altercation, during the previous day's altercation. He also had a bump and a scratch on the right side of his head. Ms. Middlebrooks stated that Mr. Baptiste started the altercation by grabbing her arms and bending them backwards. She fought back in self-defense, which is what caused Mr. Baptiste's injuries. The officer observed swelling to both of her hands. The primary aggressor could not be determined at the time they were both arrested. I'm unsure, Your Honor, based on the warrant, if the two of them lived together. But the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, a one-day anger awareness, no further contact with Stacy Middlebrooks, and stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
Cook.
This is my client, Your Honor. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Yes.
Yes, my client is 67 years old. Your Honor, this is a senior living facility that my client lives in, and the lady in question does not live there, and she's not his girlfriend or anything. His neighbor and friend was the one who called the police because this woman has been criminally trespassed from this location. She keeps coming back there and getting into arguments and confrontation with the residents of this facility. And she came to my client's home. He lives there, she doesn't. And when he opened the door, she attacked him. This is what he tells me, and his neighbor was the one who called the police. So we are okay with the signature bond, but of course he can't stay away from there because that is his home. And she apparently my understanding is that she's a younger person, and this is a senior facility and she does not live there. So we are okay with the bond as proposed by the state, although we would prefer a signature bond through the jail. My client does not have any recent history of any kind of violence. I don't think he has any real violent history, actually, but certainly nothing recent. He's 6 or 7 years old. He's on limited income on Social Security, and he just wants some peace where he lives.
Okay. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Stacy Middlebrooks, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Baptiste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Miss Middlebrooks anywhere?
She's in ACDC.
Can we do her next? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And whose client is Miss Middlebrooks? Miss
My
Kim?
client, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Miss Middlebrooks. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Did you hear me? Is that a yes?
Sure, yes.
Yes, ma'am. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001522F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 8 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Florida. No felony convictions. There's a misdemeanor conviction in 2001 for reckless conduct. The last arrest was October the 21st, 2019 out of Fulton County for aggravated assault and battery. And that case was dismissed for warrant of prosecution. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1, nothing further.
Yes, Your
Add
Honor.
Mr. Walker.
We're just going to ask for a signature run through pretrial services and no contact with Mr. Baptiste. No weapons or alcohol.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Middlebrooks is 45 years old and she's residentially challenged. That's why she was putting up with all the abuse by Mr. complaining witness. She was dumped by those. Actually, he and there was another person who was really physically abusive. So she wanted to run away from it. However, she's in the jail together. Right. She is actually starting her new job at grocery store, and she really want to get that job, and so that way she can get out of this situation. Financial independence is what she needs right now, so she can have her own place. We would like to request for signature on bond through jail so she can be out really fast, or pretrial level 1. She has no objection to stay away and no further contact.
Would be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Baptiste. Stay away from the Hank Aaron Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Middlebrooks.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position 16. This is going to be Tyrone Lindsay, position 16.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001538H with possession of marijuana less than an ounce and reckless driving. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 8 arrest cycles in Georgia. Felony conviction in 2022 for interference with government property. Also in 2022, there's a gang activity charge. That was their last arrest, which was February the 9th, 2021 out of Fulton County. It also appears that they're on probation. The first case number is 14 SC 126148 for robbery and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And then the second one is 18 SC 160800. That one is theft by receiving. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. The law enforcement officer spotted the defendant driving on Greenbrier Parkway, doing 70 in a 35 mile per hour zone. They went to make contact. He was weaving out of traffic. They did lose sight of the defendant. However, they were able to locate him using a helicopter. When he was located, he was detained. We are asking for $1,000 surety bond on the reckless driving. SOB jail, the marijuana less than an ounce, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook? Oh,
This
Ms.
is my
McLeod?
case, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes.
Your Honor, my client strongly denies the allegations made by the state. He tells me that he was actually at his home when the police officers showed up saying that they were looking for a car that fit the description of this car, but which had Tennessee license plates. His car does not have Tennessee license plates. It has Georgia plates. Without asking his permission, they actually searched his car, and that was how they found the marijuana. He denies that he was the person that was speeding on. He says they actually came to his home and arrested him. They claim that they were arresting him because of a probation violation, but he has not violated his probation. So I would ask for the recommended bond, a UJR bond for him, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Okay, for the possession of marijuana, it'll be a $500 signature bond through pretrial. For the reckless drive, and $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Makes for a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2 on both charges. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Good to
Thank
see
you, Your
as
Honor.
always.
You too, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, just one quick announcement. Mr. Chooch, you're gonna have to stop smoking on this Zoom. This is a courtroom. You can't lay down. This is a courtroom. Either mute your mic and your video. Thank you.
Thank you, Norris. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, Your Honor. Next, we're gonna go to position number 22, Mr. Brandon Shepherd.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shepherd. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Shepherd, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001531E with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. It was their last arrest, which was June the 13th, 2023, out of Fulton County for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. That case is still open. The number is 23 CP 219345, and they're recommended for a UJR level 2 with the parental cosigner. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. Law enforcement was dispatched to 5494 Cascade Ridge, where they met with the victim, Miss Amari Lucas. Miss Lucas was in the back of a Grady ambulance. When they spoke with the victim, she advised that she was at the defendant's home, in his driveway, in his vehicle with him. They got into a disagreement. The defendant stopped the vehicle and punched her in the face and then mushed her, stating that he was going to take her to the cut. The victim did sustain injuries to her face. She had a large scrape on her elbow from the incident and a busted lip and scratches on her chest and her right arm as well. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, no contact with Miss Lucas. We're not asking for a stay away because they do not reside together. I believe it's his home, but we are asking for that no contact, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sign for the victim, Miss Lucas.
Is it Lucas, Mr. Walker, Lucas?
That's what I have in my notes. Amari
Okay.
Lucas.
Okay, if Ms. Lucas is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, Mr. Cook,
This is not my client, Your Honor.
who's representing Mr. Shepherd?
Howdy, Your Honor. I apologize. Mr. Brandon Shepherd is 19 years old, Your Honor. Actually, he is residing with his mother and 17 years old cousin. And Your Honor, he's qualified for public defender services. He recently graduated from high school 2022, and I believe this is his first time being in trouble. We would like to request for signature on bond through, actually there was one more, but he's presumed to be innocent. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial 11-1.
It's going to be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Lucas, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The SAP calendar for this for today will be April 16th. Good luck to you, Mr. Shepherd.
April 16th?
April 16th, yes, sir. Yes, is the next calendar.
Next, we're going to go to position number 24, Mr. Maurice Steele.
Good afternoon, Mr. Steele. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. How you doing too, sir?
I'm fine, Mr. Steele. Let's see. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001526J with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 31 arrest cycles with arrests out of Illinois, Georgia, Indiana, and Ohio. There appears to be a holdout of Decatur. The date of that warrant is March the 20th, 2024. The last arrest was July the 18th, 2023 out of Atlanta for criminal damage and criminal trespass. That case number is 23 CP 220271. Recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Marquee Midtown District apartment complex at 415 Armour Drive in Atlanta due to a breaking and entering call at that location. When they went to the unit, they found 2 individuals inside of that unit. The defendant was one of those individuals. It was confirmed that he was previously criminally trespassed from this location on March 15th of this year. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from the apartment complex located at 415 Armour Drive. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Your Honor, we have no objection.
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from the Armour Drive address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Steele.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next is Miss Gibbs, Katrika Gibbs. I believe that's position 11.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Gibbs. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Gibbs, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001541G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 5 arrest cycles out of Georgia. The last arrest was May the 20th, 2023 out of Fulton for an FTA. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 30th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 3510 Leisure Lane in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with Terrence Feltz, who advised that a verbal argument with his girlfriend, Katrika Gibbs, became physical when she began punching him in the face with a closed fist and scratching him. The officer did observe scratch marks on his neck and lacerations to the left side of his face. Our office has been in touch with Mr. Feltz. He tells us that they are in a relationship. They do live together at the incident location. They share no children. He confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that that Ms. Gibbs may have some MH issues, has not been taking medication. This is not the first time that she's been violent towards him. They have 2 previous cases, Your Honor. One is 23 CR 003305Y, which is a battery family violence conviction and 22 CR 003748374Y, which is battery with substantial bodily harm against the same victim. Our office is in the process of seeking to transfer this case, Your Honor, to the DA's office. And based on the history and the repeated contact with the same victim, the state is requesting a $4,000 surety bond. No further contact with Terrence Phelps. Stay away from 3510 Leisure Lane. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we can sound for Terrence Phelps, Your Honor, in accordance with Marcy's law.
Mr. Green, was the previous battery family violence with Mr. Felt, was that a conviction?
Yes, Your Honor, it was a guilty plea taken on September 18th of 2023.
Okay. If Mr. Terrence Felt is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. I too spoke to Mr. Phelps. He had no objection to her returning to Leisure Lane with no further violent contact. He said he might be in a bind as far as getting on the video today because of his work obligations. We have no problem given that well, we would like no further violent contact because this is where they live. Would not be easy for her to find other housing. And we would be looking at a signature, requesting a signature only bond at whatever level the judge deems appropriate.
I can't return her to a household where there's been a previous battery family violence conviction and another allegation, Mr. Cook. As such, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. Terrence Felt, stay away from the Leisure Lane address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Gibbs.
No, you have to pay 10% of the $2,000. I'll explain to you later. Your Honor, next is Ms. Zaria Hopkins, position 13. Come on, Ms. Hopkins. Oh, man.
Of accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Is that a yes? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001543A with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history, and they're recommended for a UJR through the jail.
Thank you. Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 5th of 2023. Law enforcement responded to a dispute at 2912 Chinaberry Way, Southwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer met with Danielle Austin, who advised that Zaria Hopkins inserted herself into an argument she was having with Ms. Hopkins' brother in the residence, and Ms. Hopkins then struck her in the mouth with an open hand. Our office has been in touch with Ms. Austin. She states that she is the mother of the defendant's brother's child. They do not live together. The incident location is where Ms. Hopkins resides. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that she does not wish to press charges. Nothing has happened like this before. They've been in contact since the incident with no additional incidents. She's not in fear of Ms. Hopkins, and she's okay with no violent contact. She indicated she should be, or she will be, signing into Zoom. The state is requesting Your Honor signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Danielle Austin, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if we can sound for Danielle Austin, Your Honor, in accordance with Marcy's law.
If Ms. Danielle Austin is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Any objection to any of the request, Mr. Cook?
No, Your Honor.
As such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Ms. Austin, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Hopkins.
Your Honor, did you receive my text, my chat?
Let's see. Yes, Mr. Jordan, can we go ahead and put Ms. Chansey in to the breakout room?
I think
Judge, they already in.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Chancey
Miss.
Kim, no problem.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Grace.
Hi, Judge.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 9 and position number 10, Mr. Vince Gardner.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Garten. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Garten, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001535B with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001537D with hit and run, 2 counts. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 17 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Tennessee. There was a felony conviction in 2016 for theft by shoplifting. They received first offender treatment. It was revoked in 2019. There is a misdemeanor conviction for driving without a license. For 2016 for that arrest. The last arrest was May the 7th, 2022 out of Fulton County for a DUI. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Bill?
Yes, Your Honor. So the case ending in 535D, the incident took place February 18, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 21004 Lexington Farms Drive in Alpharetta. Upon arrival, Elizabeth Emio, E-M-I-O-H-E, advised that Vince Garten became upset when she wasn't answering her phone. While she was lying down, he came into the apartment and punched her in the face. The officer did observe a red mark on her left eye. 6-year-old NG witnessed the battery. In that case, Your Honor, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, $1,500 on the battery, family violence, $500 on the cruelty. No further contact with Elizabeth Elmio. Stay away from 21004 Lexington Farms Drive. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I will state for the record, Your Honor, we've been in touch with Ms. Elmio. She states that the two are legally married. They do live together. They share 4 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant. This is not the first time that he's been violent towards her, but the first time the police have been involved. They've been living together since the incident with no violence. She does not want contact and does not want him to return to the residence. And that's the reason for the state's recommendation. And on the case 537D, the incident took place on September 30th, 2023. Vince Garten was driving a white Toyota Corolla. He hit a parked vehicle in the parking lot of 11042 Alpharetta Highway. A few hours later, they found the car overturned near Sun Valley Drive in Alpharetta. Mr. Garten struck the sidewalk in a tree on the cul-de-sac, left the scene without contacting police. And on that case, the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, $500 on each count of hit and run, no driving, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, on the first incident, Your Honor, my client would have no problem. Stay away, no further contact. He lives at a different location. At this point, and on the second, there was an issue with a car he had borrowed that turned out to have faulty brakes. Beyond that, we would simply ask the court's discretion in this matter.
Okay, for the battery, family violence, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. The cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Miss Emiho. Stay away from the Lexington Farms Drive address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For each count of hit and run, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gardner.
Your Honor, just one quick question.
Yes.
On his booking screen, he has 3 driving hit and run. Was one NOD?
Graham?
Your Honor, I only had 2 in the warrant, but I'll double check, and if there's another one, we'll file it.
Because they won't let him out with that other one.
We'll look into it, Deputy Norris. Just give us 1 second, please.
Appreciative, Walker.
All right, thank you.
You done. You go. Go sit in the second row. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 2, Mr. Richard Blaylock.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Blaylock. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Blaylock, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001544F with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 1 arrest cycle in Georgia. Their last arrest was February 16th, 2024, out of Atlanta for a DUI, and it was null pros. The recommendation from a pretrial is a UJR through the jail. Nothing further.
Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place March 30th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to domestic disturbance at 1221 Brickton Drive Northwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer was met by Stephen Lawyer, who advised that a verbal argument with his partner, Richard Blaylock, turned physical when Mr. Blaylock pulled a chair from under him while he was sitting at the kitchen island, causing him to fall to the floor face first. We have been in touch with Mr. Lawyer. He says the 2 are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. He denies the events in the warrant and that Mr. Blaylock pulled a chair from underneath him. He did say he came towards him in an aggressive manner and caused him to react and fall to the floor. He said that he called the police because he could not get back into the home, that nothing like this has happened before. He is not in fear of Mr. Blaylock and wants to continue contact. The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is a signature bond through pretrial services, a 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Stephen Lawyer. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we can sound for Stephen Lawyer, Your Honor, in accordance with Marcy's law, in case he may be online.
Mr. Lawyer is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook, here we go. Mr.
I'm
Lawyer?
sorry. Yes.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me, sir? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
I just want to reiterate what was stated. I wanted to make it very clear that we have never been physical, and it was not a physical altercation. I've stressed that to the police several times because I have integrity, and I didn't want because I called. I didn't want. I care about this man a lot. He is my partner, and he's a great person. And we are very rational, sound-minded people who know how to conduct ourselves. This has been a very traumatic event, to get this far in this process with all this. We have more than enough resources and family and tools to ensure that nothing like this will happen again. And I just wanted to share that and thank you.
Okay, you're not afraid of him?
Not at all. Not one bit.
And
That's
you wish for
my
him,
partner.
you wish for him to return to the residence?
Absolutely.
And
Very much.
This has never happened before?
Never, ever, 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 ever. We were actually going to church. We were supposed to go to church the next day. This is just a very unfortunate thing that should have never took place. And I know that us both experiencing this together, I can assure you that this will never happen again.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Mr. Lawyer.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, we would object to any stay away, object to any stuff, and we would not object to any, a condition of no violent contact. We would ask for a signature bond through the jail. And I don't believe the one-day anger awareness program would be necessary at this point.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Mr. Lawyer, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Blaylock.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 4, Mr. Wallace Burst.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Burst. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Is that a yes, Mr. Burst?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Burst, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001528E with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 50 arrest cycles out of Georgia. None of those arrests are within the last 10 years. Their last actual arrest was May the 28th, 2010 out of DeKalb for an FTA. Recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Graham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place March 30th, 2024. Law enforcement received a call regarding a person threatening to harm passersby who was armed with a gun. Upon arrival at 3289 Washington Road in East Point, which is a Chevron station, they found Wallace Burst. He resisted a Terry frisk, not following commands and tensing his body. The frisk produced a fake black handgun that was attached to his waist. The state is requesting a signature bond for pretrial services. Stay away from the Chevron at 3289 Washington Road. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
We have no objection to the state's recommendation, Your Honor.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Chevron on Washington Road and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Burst.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, we can go to the Spanish interpreter case.
Okay. Yeah. And do you know what position that is?
That is position number 18, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. Do you swear affirm that you will interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Patino Gomez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor Petino Gómez. Soy el juez Eric Morrow y esta es la audiencia de lista de causas estatales de trámite rápido. Estamos conduciendo esta teleaudiencia a distancia. ¿Está de acuerdo con que tratemos su caso de este modo? Yes.
You've been charged with battery family violence.
Usted ha sido acusado por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
Is there a history, Miss Hardy?
¿Hay antecedentes, señorita Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle out of Texas.
Este acusado tiene un arresto anterior de Texas
That last arrest was August the 1st, 2023.
y ese último arresto fue el 1 de agosto del 2023.
And that was out of Eagle Pass, Texas for alien inadmissibility under Section 212.
I'm sorry, it's Eagle
It's Eagle Pass, Texas.
Pass. Ok, fue ese día en Eagle Pass, en Texas.
Okay, cool.
The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1.
Y la recomendación es de un nivel 1.
I'm sorry, y'all, and I was on the phone. Well, I'm still on the phone with the jail checking on the last case, but what position is this?
This is position number 18, Mr. Patino Gomez.
Oh, man.
I
think that's.
Is that someone else? Is this your case, Mr. Walker?
I think it's Mr. Graham's case, but let me.
Ms. Lee, I'm happy to have you in my courtroom this afternoon, but you're gonna have to stop eating, okay? Or either go off camera. Rochelle Lee. Mr. Graham, are you with us?
It's my case. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My position talking to the jail. I'm trying to look into that last case. 1 second, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 484 Maxwell Road, where they met with the victim, Miss Michelle Perez.
La policía fue enviada a 484 Maxwell Road y los oficiales se reunieron con la señora Pérez.
The two individuals are married and they were having a disagreement.
Los dos individuos están casados y tuvieron una discusión.
During this disagreement, the defendant became violent and struck the victim in her face, causing her visible bleeding from her mouth.
Durante esta discusión, el acusado se volvió violento y la golpeó a la señora víctima en la cara, haciendo la sangrar de la boca.
The state is asking for a $2,500 surety bond, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, no weapon or alcohol while bond.
Y entonces la fiscalía solicita una fianza de $2,500 bajo garantía, no tener más contacto con la víctima y mantenerse distanciado de la residencia, quedando prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
And if Michelle Perez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Si la señora Michelle Pérez está en la plataforma en línea, esta es la oportunidad que tiene de hablar conmigo, si así gusta. Señora Michelle Pérez está presente.
Doesn't appear so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Patino Gomez is 28 years old.
El señor Patino Gómez tiene 28 años de edad.
He and his wife, they have one son, 6 years old.
Y él con su esposa tienen un hijo de 6 años.
So we do have to have a third-party transfer to have a child visitation.
Entonces necesitamos una tercera parte que transporte a la criatura para la visita.
He strongly prefers no for the violent context since he has no other family except his wife and son, and same for his wife as well.
Él prefiere solicitar que se le imponga no tener más contacto violento en lugar de contacto total, ya que él no tiene familiares aquí, al igual que la esposa.
He has been living here in Georgia for last 6 months.
Él ha estado viviendo en Georgia durante los últimos 6 meses.
He's working as a bricks construction employee.
Él está trabajando como constructor con ladrillos.
This is first violence-related offense. We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail.
Entonces, debido a que este ha sido el primer arresto por violencia, pedimos una fianza bajo firma solamente a través de la cárcel.
That's it, Your Honor.
Eso es todo, su señoría.
Have you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Perez, Ms. Kim?
¿Han podido hablar con la señora Pérez?
They only have a Mexico international phone call and I don't have access to that.
Ellos solamente tienen un número de telefónico internacional en México y no he podido usarlo.
Okay, it's going to be $1,000 surety bond.
Va a ser una multa bajo garantía de $1,000.
No further violent contact with Michelle Perez.
No tener más contacto violento con Michelle Pérez.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, Mr.
Buenas-
Gomez.
Buena suerte, señor Petino Gómez.
Thank you.
Judge, what was that bond again?
1,000 good.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need Ms. Chancey for any other cases this afternoon?
Would you like me to make an announcement, Your Honor,
Yes, thank you.
¿Hay alguien que necesite un intérprete en español para hablar con el señor juez? Por favor, avísenos prendiendo su cámara o saludando con la mano.
Okay, as always, Ms. Chancey, we appreciate your help this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a
my
good afternoon.
pleasure. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Who we have next?
Next is gonna be
Yes.
petition number 5, Mr. Charles Carter.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Carter, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001529F with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history?
This defendant has a total of 69 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. None of those arrests were in the last, no convictions within the last 10 years. The last arrest was November the 29th, 2018 out of Fulton for driving without a license. Nothing further at this time.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place March 30th, 2024. Officers were patrolling the area around 880 Smith Street Southwest for an aggravated assault in the case number 240681242 for Charles Carter. When they saw someone that looked like him ride by on a bicycle, the officers asked him to stop. He began to pedal faster and then began to flee from the officers. Other patrol units were requested to assist. Georgia State Patrol K-9 unit found Mr. Carter lying near a fence in some brush in an attempt to hide from the law enforcement. State is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. Graham, why were they attempting to stop him?
The warrant says they were patrolling for an aggravated assault that was attributed to Mr. Carter. I wasn't able to find any warrants or open cases. The case number that was in the warrant, I guess, was just a police case number. It's 240681242.
So he doesn't have an aggravated assault charge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cook, if it's okay with you, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bonds. That suit you?
That's fine, Your Honor, yes.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Carter.
Yep, you got it. Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 8, Mr. Barry Ellis. Position number 8.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Ellis. I'm Judge Eric Mara. Good afternoon, sir. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Ellis, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001534Y with simple battery in a public transit vehicle or station. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 13 arrest cycles in Georgia. No convictions in the last 10 years. Their last arrest was December 30th, 2022 out of Fulton for disorderly conduct. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place March 30th, 2024. Ellisberry entered the MARTA bus 1159. He was upset with the bus driver about missing an earlier bus, started being aggressive with her, in her face, calling her names while she was driving. The bus driver felt unsafe. She stopped the bus to call the police. Another passenger, Desmond Jones, was concerned for the driver's safety. He confronted Mr. Ellis and asked her to leave her alone. At the time, Mr. Ellis yelled at him and pushed him in the chest. Surveillance footage confirmed those events of both the witness and the driver. Our office has spoken with Mr. Jones. He says he does not know Mr. Ellis. He confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that he does not want contact. He indicated he will be on Zoom. The state is requesting a $500 surety bond, Your Honor. No further contact with Desmond Jones. Stay away from MARTA in compliance with any and all suspensions or bans. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if we can sound for Mr. Jones, I believe I see him on deck.
And what MARTA bus was that he was on?
Was bus 1159, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Jones, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me.
All right.
Do you
Go
swear
ahead.
affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Mr. Jones. What would you like to tell me?
Yeah. I like I said, like the previous gentleman just said, like I didn't. He was verbally assaulting the bus driver to the point that she had to pull the bus over and stop the bus and lock down the bus. In that moment, that myself, I was trying to help him, just trying to calm down, chill out, don't escalate this. This is gonna get you locked up. I'm trying to help him out. He started yelling, screaming at me. And then he just got into my face, pointing fingers, just all over my face. At one point, I told him to back up. Then he pushed me and started yelling at the other patrons on the bus. Actually, putting a female passenger, making her fear for her life. In one instance.
Okay, Mr. Jones, do you regularly ride bus 1159?
Do I regularly ride the bus 1159?
Yes,
No,
sir.
no. I regularly ride MARTA, but not that particular bus. I catch the bus that you're referring to, 1159, is a route number 73 going to the Lagrange Boat Rock. But like that's the first. Yeah, but that's the first time I ever seen him a day in my life, and the first time I see the driver and the other passengers on that bus.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Mr. Jones. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 60 years old. He is retired from the Army and lives on a pension. from the Army. He's a veteran of Operation Desert Storm. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. At the very, I mean, at the worst interpretation of the warrant, you're looking at a push on a bus. We would ask, we have no problem with any stay away or no contact provisions, but we would be asking for a signature bond to whatever level the judge deems appropriate.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Desmond Jones. I'm not going to keep him from all of MARTA, but I'm going to keep him from bus 1159. So he cannot travel on bus 1159, abide by any active MARTA suspensions, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ellis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll see the third row. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 14, Mr. Jazreel Jackson.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
No.
Was that a no?
Yo. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001520C with disorderly conduct. Is there a history?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. It was their last arrest out of Cobb County, which was August the 19th, 2023, for entering auto, theft by receiving, criminal damage to property, obstruction. Recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2 with the parental cosigner. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 559 Woodland Avenue, where they met with the defendant's mother, Ms. Kimberly Jackson. She advised that her and her son were in a disagreement because she refused to buy him a MARTA bus card. He became upset. She called law enforcement. When law enforcement got there, he was waving around a metal object in his hand while yelling at his mother. He called her a fake ASSBITCH and lunged at her slightly. At that point, they were separated by the officer, and he was arrested. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, no violent contact with Ms. Kimberly Jackson, a 2-day anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. I'm not sure if his mother is on the line, but of course we would sound for Ms. Jackson. We have made contact with Ms. Jackson. She says she is not in fear of her son and she's comfortable with him coming home.
Ms. Kimberly Jackson is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. This your case, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. No objection to signature on bond, Your Honor. He is 19 years old, and I also try to reach his mother. However, I could not. And he is still in high school, Your Honor. He is going through 12th grade, and he wants to graduate very soon. Well, he wants to leave the jail, so we would like to request for a signature on bond, however, without cosigner. Thank you.
Does he have a job?
Not yet.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Kimberly Jackson. He's to have a curfew. He is to be in by 9 p.m. and he cannot leave until 6 a.m. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And a 5-day anger awareness class. Good luck to you, Mr. Jackson.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 15, Mr. Miles Lee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lee. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lee, you've been charged in case 24CR001521J with theft by receiving stolen property and acquiring a license plate for the purpose of concealing the identification of a motor vehicle. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant does not have any history and is recommended for a UJR through the jail.
Yes, Sean, and law enforcement made contact with the individual because he had a stolen tag on his vehicle. Ultimately, he ended up admitting knowing that the tag was stolen and stated that he couldn't pass the admissions test. The tag was stolen from J9 Auto. So we're going to ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. No contact with that business. J9 Auto is located at 3820 Lawrenceville Highway. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 20 years old. He's a very bright student. He got 4.0 from high school. His GPA was extremely high, and also he came to Morehouse College as a football player slash merit scholarship. He's an academic scholar. Your Honor, he is a sophomore and he denies the allegation. He did not know about this. We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail so he can get out and go to his classes. He's missing out a lot right now. Thank you.
All right, for each count, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the J9 Auto and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, I'm going to go to position number 20, Mr. William Salako.
Good afternoon, Mr. Salako. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Salako, you've been charged in case 24CR001533Y with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles. Their last arrest was September 28th, 2014 out of Gwinnett County for possession of Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance with intent. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail. Nothing further.
Yes, Sean. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to a person injured call on Liberty Parkway when they made contact with the victim, Ms. Ayana Solaren. I believe Ms. Solaren is on the line. She advised the officers that her and the defendant had went out that evening, and on the way back to his home, things took a terrible turn when the defendant became violent. From my understanding, he did push her head into the window. He did put her in a headlock, asked her, did she want to die? He proceeded to choke her and force his finger down her throat while biting her nose, neck, and arm. The victim did sustain a bruised nose, scratches to her face, and bite marks on the back of her arms from the incident. The state is asking for a $4,500 surety bond, no contact with Ms. Solaren. We're going to ask for a stay away from her residence, which is 2119 Lake Park in Smyrna, Georgia. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And again, I believe Ms. Solaren should be on the line, so we would sound for the victim.
Ms. Solaren, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, man. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to add that I've known Mr. Swacco for over a year now, and we had never had any disagreements or violence in the past, even verbally. The subject of the disagreement was really pertaining to his distaste for the romantic partner of his best friend that also was out with us, who are both gay men. It escalated when I just asked him to listen, to which he told me that he's a man, he doesn't have to listen. And I accidentally called him one of my Girl Scout girls' names. I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. And then he proceeded to say that I'm calling him a little girl, this and that. And then he asked me, do I want to fucking die? And I asked him if he's fucking crazy. We had like a slight elevated exchange. At that point is where it escalated. He grabbed me by the crown of my head and my hair, slammed my head into the passenger window. He did proceed to put me in a headlock, choke me. I have a significant amount of makeup on now, but I have over 3 puncture marks on my nose alone, as well as over 6 bite marks and bruises on the back of my arms, inside of my arms, my hairline. There's a significant scratch on the front of my head that's pretty deep as well. And I think that for myself, it's also important to note that following the incident, he did attempt to restrict me from leaving his home to retrieve my phone and my keys out of his vehicle until he cleaned me up. I was never in fear of him prior to this. It was completely unexpected. It took a significant turn and it was very traumatizing for me. I've had to take the next few days off work as I can't obviously be around clients at this time, and I will be pursuing a protective order. I agree that I would prefer for him to not have contact with me. And if he does choose to approach me violently again, I won't hesitate to protect myself.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, Miss Sullivan.
Thank you.
Ms. Cook, Mr. Cook?
Actually, this is my client, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim?
Salako is 31 years old, very professional. He is working as data analyst. He has a bachelor's degree from Georgia State University. He even pursued master's degree at Kennesaw. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 1. This is his first violence offense ever. And he has 2 years old son that he has to take care of as well. He denies the allegation, and they are not really dating right now. He has no objection to stay away and no further contact with her. And we would like to request for a signature on bond.
Okay. Did you have something further, Ms. Solarian?
He does not have custody of his daughter. He has shared custody and he pays child support. His daughter does not live at his residence. If that's affecting your decision, that's
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Solarian, stay away from her residence, the Lake Park address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you all. Who do we have next?
Next, we're gonna go to position number 21, Mr. Sadiq Shabazz.
And Your Honor, if I may, just before that, the final accusation for Vince Garton has been filed down. So hopefully the clerk can pull it and I guess make it an add-on.
Okay, so he has this position number 10. He has 3 hit and run charges.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and the same facts as with the other 2.
Same day, but I left. The actual incident wasn't put on record, the facts, because I didn't have it, but same day. It was the same day.
Okay, who was representing Mr. Garton?
Keith Cook, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Cook, my inclination is to judge, since I gave him a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, to make it a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Would you have any objection to that?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. So Norris, did you get that from Mr. Garton?
It's 3,000, you said, Your Honor?
Right, so they're adding an accusation, so it'll be $1,000 for that added hit and run accusation.
Appreciative, Your Honor.
Position 10.
Position 10, right?
I got it. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm sorry, tell me again who we have.
This is gonna be position number 21, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mr. Shabazz, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 001523A with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles out of Georgia. Their last arrest was January the 6th, 2024 out of Clayton County for theft by shoplifting. The recommendation from pretrial is a UGR level 2. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Sean. The defendant was arrested at Walmart located at 844 Cleveland Avenue due to him shoplifting some cleaning and hygiene products that were worth about $42.37. Walmart loss prevention stated that they did wish to press charges specifically because he's been caught stealing at other Walmart locations. We are asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from all Walmarts within Fulton County. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Clerk? Is this Ms. Kim's case?
Yeah.
Miss-
Your Honor, I apologize. What number was this again?
This is position 21, Mr. Shabazz.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes. Mr. Shabazz is 23 years old, Your Honor, and he is residentially challenged. It has happened as he was living with his brother-in-law. It happened not that long ago when he was evicted and moved to Texas. He became residentially challenged, and his parents have to support 22 siblings, so they are financially very struggling. We would like to request for a signature on bond through a jail, and so that way he can get some help from social worker, and he's looking for a job. He has a certification for lifting and all kinds of stuff. He just needs to get a job. And that's about it, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from all Walmarts. Social worker visit to assist with housing. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Shabazz.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, position number 23 paid his bond.
Okay, thank you.
And we're about to bring over position number 25. He was in felonies.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, continue. And there he is, position number 25, Mr. Anthony Woods.
Good afternoon, Mr. Woods. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Woods, you've been charged in case 24 CR 001527F with violation of family violence order. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 9 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and New Jersey. No felony convictions. Their last arrest was September the 8th, 2023 out of Fulton for violation of family violence order. There's also an open case for aggravated stalking. That number is 23 CP 221774. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 7145 Camden Drive, where they met with the victim, Miss Nancy Bellinger. She advised that she has a TPO order, which is 2023 CV 1758 out of Rockdale County Superior Court against the defendant. He's to stay away from her by at least 100 yards. She advised the law enforcement officer that the defendant was sitting outside her home in his car, and the officer did make contact with the defendant in his car right outside the victim's home. He asked the defendant why he was there, and he stated that he was waiting for his girlfriend, who is the victim. Obviously, they are not in a relationship. The state is asking for a $3,000 cash bond, an ankle monitor, a no contact with Ms. Bellinger, as there is a TPO, stay away from the incident location, no weapons or alcohol while on bond. And I also want to point out to the court that her juvenile children were at home during this incident, and that aggravated stalking is the same victim in the same location. And that is the basis for the ankle monitor, Your Honor.
And the 2023 family violence violation order, is that the same victim also?
I believe she's the same victim in all the cases, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Whose case is this? Ms. Kim?
It's my case, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Woods is 59 years old, and Your Honor, he actually has a plumber, a mechanic certification, and he got a really good job at Schumann. He starts his job next week. He did not want to be in trouble. He wanted to just have a build up his life together. He has been here in Georgia about a year, and he believes I when I was hearing to his whole big picture story, I really felt like he was trapped, or he was kind of lured into some kind of trap. He was contacted by Mrs. Which I call it, the lady, the complaining witness, to basically, everything's fine. We don't have to worry about, TPO kind of thing. It's all done deal. Because first one, he got evicted from his own place because of that. And then this time he was invited to bring groceries, about $300 worth of groceries in his trunk. And he thought everything was gonna be good and all, but apparently she called the police, and here he is. The last thing he wanted to do was being in trouble or being caught in the middle, but this is what happened. And I would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial, no matter how many, how much, how level, what kind of level it is. Even level 3 will be, he will be grateful, because he does not have anybody to bail him out as of now. So I really want him to get a job and start his life, and stay away from the lady who keeps using him, taking advantage of him.
What was he in felony court for?
It was aggravated stalking because it was a violation of TPO. He didn't know that TPO was still effective.
So, not to cut you off, but he has 2 aggravated stalking cases. So he was in felony first appearance this morning for his second aggravated stalking case, and he has this case was a separate case. So they have like 4 cases together at this point. So I know defense has a different version, but none of that is in the warrant. And at this point, we're very concerned for our victim's safety.
What do you know what bond he received in the felonies case, Mr. Walker?
I don't, Your Honor. I'm not. I could try to check.
It was a no bond, it was a no bond.
No bond.
Oh, okay.
Please signature on bond. He's not going anywhere anyway.
All right, well, we'll see him back at SAP. So at this time, it's going to be a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Nancy Ballinger. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, sir. Does that complete the calendar?
That's it, Your Honor.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Jordan. Whenever you're ready.
Position 1 is a $1,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 2 is a $1,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 3 is a $4,000 sign-on bond pretrial level 2, $2,000 for count 1 and $2,000 for count 2. Position 4 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial level 1. Position 5 is a $1,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 6 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 7 is a $1,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 8 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial level 1. Position 9 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial. What was the level on that one, Judge?
1.
Level 1, thank you. So $2,000 for count 1 and $1,000 for count 2. Position 10 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial level 1. 1,000 for count, or 1,000 for each charge. Position 11 is a $2,000 surety, reset SAP 4/16/24. Position 12 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial level 1. Position 13 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 14 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial, level 1. Position 15 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail, $1,000 per charge. Position 16 is a $1,500 sign-on bond pretrial, level 2, $500 for count 1 and $1,000 for count 2. 17 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial, level 1. 18 is a $1,000 surety, reset SAP 416. 19 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial, level 1. 20 is a $2,000 surety, reset SAP 416. 21 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial, level 1. Position 22 is a $2,000 surety, reset SAP 416. 23, May bond. 24 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial, level 2. And 25 is a $3,000 surety, reset SAP 416.
Any questions or concerns? Okay, if not, y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.
You just wrong. Give me about 30 minutes, Judge. I couldn't keep up with you.
All right, I'll get it back to you as soon as I get it, Mr. Jordan. All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye-bye.